Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize you're drifting. You're moving, yes, but going nowhere. Living, but not alive. We had nothing, no luxury, no comfort, just survival. I became him. In my mind, I saw the future as clearly as if it were already real. I will become someone the world remembers. Most people never get that moment. I had one mission: to become the youngest Mr. Universe in history. Not because I thought it might happen, but because I had already seen it in my mind. That's the power of vision. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't ask, what if I fail? It declares, watch me do it. And when you know where you're going, even the hardest parts become fun. Because you're not just grinding, you're chasing something that sets your soul on fire. That clarity. But I did. And I held on to it with everything I had. You need courage. Because the moment you step out of line, the moment you dream bigger than the people around you, the moment you believe in something they've never seen. In America, 74% of people say they hate their jobs. That's why rule number 2 is simple. Don't listen to the naysayers. So when they see you chasing yours, it reminds them of what they lost. They're not angry at you, they're angry at themselves. It became the role. Same story, new stage. They said my accent would never work. The same body they once called too big for the screen became iconic. You were. So when they tell you it's stupid, the same voice they mocked became unforgettable. Why? While others were laughing, you were lifting. While others were sleeping, you were becoming. And when it's finally your time to step up, you won't need to say a word, because I didn't listen to the losers. Just fire in your gut, a dream in your head, and the discipline to show up every damn day. Because you've already seen how this story ends. In the ending, you'll fall, you'll fail, you'll want to quit. And that's when most people give up. Speak the idea, run the mile, and build the life they said was impossible. Because one day they'll look at you and say, if you didn't exist, we would have had to build you. I didn't internalize their fear. Their limits were not mine. You have to understand something. When people tell you no, it doesn't mean anything unless you agree with them. You can nod, you can smile, but inside your mind say this, that it sounded too robotic, too foreign. That no one would take me seriously. The muscles, the presence, the size, it wasn't a weakness. It's not about luck. It's about how far you're willing to go for what you believe in. Every rep in the gym, every line rehearsed in a tiny apartment, every door slammed in your face, every fake smile from people who say, it'll never happen. It all stacks, it all compounds, it all shapes you. It was the reason they needed me. That's what happens when you stop listening to the noise. Your flaws become your advantage. Your obstacles become your edge. And the thing they said would hold you back becomes the reason you stand out. But instead of fixing their life, they try to shrink yours. Don't let them. Build what they said was unbuildable. Dream what they called stupid. Do what they said was impossible. Every major thing I've done in my life, every bold move, every leap into the unknown, I heard the same words. That's not possible. The very thing they said would ruin my career. You're too young, you have the wrong body, you have an accent. You'll fail, and if I had listened, they would have been right. They don't see your vision. And you know what I did? I didn't argue. I didn't complain. I just went to work. Studied English day and night. I took acting classes, accent reduction courses. Practiced, rehearsed, failed, tried again. While others talked, I was in the shadows grinding. My first movie, Hercules in New York, let's be honest, it was a disaster. But I wasn't looking for a perfect start. I was looking for a way in, and I got it. But I didn't. When they said it's impossible, I heard, it's possible for someone brave enough. Conan the Barbarian. It changed everything. At the press conference, the director stood in front of the cameras and said, if we didn't have Arnold, we would have had to build one. When they said no, I heard not yet. When they laughed, I didn't flinch, because I had already seen how it ends, and they weren't in it. Europe isn't much different. People fall into routines not because they chose them, but because they never chose anything. They drift. They wait for life to choose for them. And when it does, they complain. You weren't born to drift, or born to drive. I wasn't born in America. I could never be president, or governor. That was possible. And California's 5th largest economy in the world was no small task. But I didn't care. I wasn't looking for what was easy. I was aiming for what was mine. 2 months after announcing my candidacy, I became governor. Not because I was the smartest or the most experienced, but because I had clarity. a vision that pulled me forward. Nothing motivates people more than someone who knows exactly where they're going. Life without a goal is like lifting weights without knowing why. You get tired, fast. You burn out, easily. But when there's purpose, when every set has meaning, fatigue becomes fuel. Discomfort becomes power. It's no different than a medical student becoming a doctor. They know exactly why they're studying. They're not doing it for a grade, they're doing it for a calling. And that's what separates the passionate from the passive. From that point on, I wasn't guessing. I was chasing. That's what a vision does. It turns pain into fuel, gives purpose to the grind. While others see reps and routines, you see steps toward destiny. People would ask me, Arnold, why are you smiling after 6 hours in the gym? City council, local board. Because every curl, every bench press, every sit-a-pit wasn't just training, it was sculpting my future. I didn't dread the pain. I craved it because I knew that sweat meant progress. That pain meant I was moving. That fatigue meant I was alive. On purpose, my parents wanted me to grow up like every other boy, quiet, obedient, practical, a factory job, maybe farming. Something normal, but inside me, something felt wrong. I wasn't made for quiet. I wasn't made for small. I wasn't made to survive. I was made to build. And then one day at school, everything changed. I was 11. They showed us a black and white documentary about America. I watched those towering skyscrapers, the freeways stretching for miles, power, the possibility, and I knew that's where I belong. Not in small villages with barns and dust, but in a place where dreams live outside of bedtime. That image stuck in my mind like a seed that refused to die, and then it grew. One afternoon, walking through Graz after school, I stopped at a shop window. Inside magazines. And there it was, a bodybuilding magazine. On the cover stood a man who would change my life, Reg Park, a 3-time Mr. Universe, a man who had become Hercules in the movies, a man with muscle, power, confidence, vision. And in that quiet space between your heartbeat and your thoughts, a voice whispers, "You were made for more." That's how greatness begins. Not with noise, but with a whisper called vision. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who see it before it's real. Because if you don't have a vision, a direction, a why, you'll wander. You'll take the jobs people offer you. You'll live the life others expect of you. You'll wake up one day wondering where the time went, and why it never felt like yours. I was born in Austria, 1947. The country was still healing from the scars of World War II. I picked it up and read every word. And in that moment, I didn't just admire Reg Park. I will be a bodybuilding champion. I will go to America. I will be in movies. I will make millions. At 20 years old, I got on a plane to London. But here's the tragedy. Most people never feel that fire. They wake up, go to work, come home, repeat, and they hate it. Purpose. Later in my life, when I entered politics, people laughed. Arnold, in politics? They said I should start small. But that wasn't my vision. I had one goal, to become the governor of California. And here is what I've learned, something I need you to understand deep in your bones. Vision alone is not enough. You will hear one thing over and over again. You can't. That's the thing about naysayers. They've already quit on their dreams. When I transitioned from bodybuilding into acting, they mocked me. They said I was too muscular, too stiff, that I'd never fit in Hollywood. They said, "You can't act. You can't speak English. Your accent will ruin everything." Then came Streets of San Francisco. Stay Hungry, Pumping Iron, The Villain. And then the big break. The very body they laughed at, then came Terminator. And yet when filming ended, director James Cameron told the press, if Arnold hadn't had that accent and talked like a machine, the movie wouldn't have worked. Just think about that. Made the movie legendary. What do you know? They don't know your hunger. They weren't there when you cried yourself to sleep with a dream burning in your chest. When they say no one's ever done that, when they ask, "Who do you think you are?" answer with this: "I'm the one who doesn't stop." Because this isn't about talent. Become the kind of person who cannot be denied. And when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready. So while others were talking, you were building. Your success will speak for you. So here's what I want you to take from my life. Not the movies, not the muscles, but this. Have a vision. Don't listen to the naysayers and work your ass off. That's it. There is no shortcuts, no secret formula. But not you. It's not written by them. It's written by you. So pick up the pen, grab the weights, start the business, speak the idea, run the mile, and build the life they said was impossible. Because one day they'll look at you and say, if you didn't exist, we would have had to build you.